Fellas, this bad boy got hurt. Yes, sir. I had to pop that valve cover open, and what I mean that is about 546,912 miles, I believe there. So, give me a break. So, at 547,000 miles, what am I guessing? I reset one of these guys. Oh, no, it wasn't that one. It was this one. 411 miles ago, I put this engine back together. So you do the math there. We changed. This thing started misfiring. Yes, sir. Started misfiring. First hole was dead. Cylinder 1 was losing a lot of compression. And we kind of poked around and came to a conclusion the springs are weak and they have worn out. So we took a stab at it. I said, well, I've been wanting to upgrade the push rods because they're known for buckling a little bit. So let's do the springs. Time for the springs. Let me tell you guys. When I pulled one of them springs out, I'll probably name this video, should you or should you not replace your springs. But guys, once I pulled out one of those springs, keep in mind, this is the first time I'm ever doing engine work on this engine. Besides at 500,000 swapping out injectors. It's all I've done for safe measures, but there's nothing wrong with the last set. Anyways, so with the old spring out, I always thought springs was more of a resistance thing. Guys, I never thought about the rebound. That's the best way I could put it. When you compress that spring, there's plenty of resistance, right? It's the fact that when you lift off, that spring doesn't rebound, doesn't open up fast enough, and it blew my mind. I don't know why I did not think about that. The new springs are harder to compress, but they just instantly rebound versus the old ones. They're tired. That steel is tired. It's not springing back. Ain't no spring chicken no more. You know what I mean? So that really caught me off guard. It really caught me off guard. Push rods, the factory ones buckle at 1600. I think these buckle at 6600. They are massive. I did not have any intentions to go that extreme, but it was the only set I could buy. I went with the Hamiltons. Good, solid brand. I built my 12 valvelets, few of the Hamilton products. Really solid guys, good guys. Can't say enough good about them. They didn't sponsor me. They don't know who the heck I am even. But seems like their pricing is reasonable and their product is proper. A solid product. So I bought their springs. I think they call them 103s. And then I brought their extreme push rods because that was the only push rod I could find on their site. So what have I noticed? To my surprise, I was expecting better fuel mileage. I did not get that. You would think that if the valve closes and you're doing better compression, you'd get better fuel mileage. For some reason, I'm not reaping that benefit. When I am getting better compression, the way I'm getting better compression, it fires up snappier and it shuts off dead. It comes to a dead halt faster. And it does, I can't say it boosts quicker. The boost has the low boost has more power to it. So just evidence of the cylinders sealing better. So it's not just blowing through that boost, it's actually using that boost. So hopefully that makes sense to you. Is it worth the headache? Guys, it's quite the job. It is. It's an extensive job. Luckily, you guys know, my regulars know, I have a diesel shop. We were able to do it in my shop. My expense is far less than average Joe going to a shop, because that's a big project for average Joe in their shop. You gotta have, solid mechanical skills to do it, because you're gonna encounter different things. You're gonna encounter different telltale signs that you need to be knowledgeable in there. I would not advise someone just to read an owner's manual and dive in there. Your engine might have far bigger problems, and if you're not mechanically inclined to read those telltale signs, you're just gonna miss it, and it's just gonna be a waste of time and money. So if anyone's gonna do it, you gotta be a mid-grade mechanic, not an entry level at least, and get it done. As you can tell, I got plenty of mileage. So I'm 400 miles into this. Absolutely love it. Those valves have definitely showed me the carbon buildup, and I was really surprised how much carbon buildup my engine is, where I thought the combustion was fairly clean, because it's running clean, it's running decently smooth, right? Well, until the last, I started hearing a noise a couple weeks to start getting a misfire at idle. Like you could hear it in the exhaust. It's just kind of like thumping along. So yeah, first repair, 500, rounded up 547,000 miles. I cannot complain, and I am not complaining, just sharing my experience. Alrighty, fellas, is it worth the repair? If you're like me and you got a dead hole, you got to figure it out. Either you move on with the engine or you fix this one. And I'm happy I fixed this one. It continues the legacy of this engine, because now this engine has 625 head studs. Rockers are factory, cam is factory, push rods are upgraded, and springs are upgraded. This engine's capable of a lot more power. But most importantly, it has the mileage and it's running healthy as a horse. The piston rings are sealing well. I do not know if I would do this project just to have a more efficient engine in any way, shape, or form. Probably not. If I were to do it all over again, I would put these springs in at 500,000 when I was doing my injectors. Half the job was done, all that rocker stuff was pulled off, it was done. That's when I would have done my springs. So if you ask me, when should I do your springs? A guy that's on the highway, 500,000. A guy that's putt-putting around town, 300,000. That's when I would do it. Usually I'll tell you guys, at 500,000, cut your losses and put a different engine in. I can't say that about this engine. This engine's been through hell and high water. I've tested everything with this engine, all the products, all the, filters and everything. This is my first brand new truck, and I took care of it, but I definitely pushed her to her limits. At 500,000, this thing doesn't drop any, or doesn't leak a drop of oil. Yeah, I kept up with it. The front main has been, I don't know about the front main. That might or might not have been replaced, but I know the rear main's been replaced. I changed the seal on the spacer on the valve cover, right? There's the head, and then you have that spacer, and then you have the plastic, and then you have the CCV filter, and then the cap for the CCV filter. That's the cap that you guys see as a valve cover, but it really isn't. I just can't complain, what this truck needs, because my check engine comes and goes as it pleases. I have a ground issue somewhere. What's the next step for this truck? It needs new wiring under that engine. That wiring is crispy at the mileage. I love the fact that I was able to push so much power and mileage out of it. It's running healthy as a horse, but it needs constant maintenance. It's not preventative. It's hey, you need to repair this, you need to repair that. And I keep pushing my luck with this wiring. I know there's an issue somewhere, I have a feeling I feel like I know the vicinity, because when I do anything in that vicinity, it varies. Short of cutting every wire open and see which one is crumbled to crap, I haven't done that, but I've inspected the looms. There's there's 3 spots that we're touching because they're zip tied, like to the dipstick, and then I think the other one's on the upper side of the dipstick bracket. I've cut that loom open, did the same thing more in the crap, so I think it's safe to say this thing needs a new wiring harness. That's something else I would have done at 500,000, knowing what I know. Obviously it's running, it's firing just fine, but just preventative maintenance, and maintenance. Something else I'd probably get on the road with is cap mounts. This thing needs cap mounts. Also, I missed it when my shop ordered, I think they're called Dorman pile of junk motor mounts. So I'm getting vibration from that engine. I looked into it, and guys installed Dorman motor mounts because in the pinch they didn't have them in stock. I had factory motor mounts ready for this truck, but for whatever reason they installed those motor mounts on another truck, and the gentleman that was running the shop at the time just couldn't tell the difference. And anyways, so don't do Dorman motor mounts. Stay away from that crap. Stick to OEM. There's a lot of things you gotta stick to OEM to get yourself a quality product. track bar, like suspension parts, go OEM. Electronics, sensors, 100% OEM. You know, like my body mounts, like this cab, I'm tempted to try SMBs. They're advertising all this stuff, but we'll see. These factory ones did 500,000 just fine. I think we'll be fine with another set of 500. This truck isn't going anywhere, guys. I want my oldest son, David, to have this son as his first truck. So this truck stayed in the family. If I decide to walk away from it, which I'm going to have to do sooner or later to test the newer stuff and see what I can improve and what works best. It's just what I do. That's how I love. That's just my passion, is testing new equipment. I'm going to have to walk away from this truck, but it's definitely a pleasure driving something of this caliber. And what I mean by that, this mileage, and to be still up to par with today's power levels, today's standards, and today's economy, really. You know, with one break of 5 minutes, you know, keeping it at 75, 17.7 is not a bad mileage at all. Considering it's a full-size truck, and there's a lot of weight in this truck you guys don't see. Shoot, my additional fuel tank alone is 91 gallons. My factory tank's replaced, right? I think my factory tank was replaced to a 58 or 60 gallon SMB tank, right? So I'm carrying some weight on this thing. That fuel tank has a toolbox. That toolbox is full of tools, you know. I got extra chains, binders on this truck. This truck, without the bed being equipped, and that bed probably has about 400 or 500 pounds. Well, not 500, about 350, 400 pounds, you know, chains, binders, and stuff like that. Without the bed being equipped, you know, this thing is 10.2. This is a very heavy truck. You know, my brace bars for the rear axle, everything ends up. Anyways, guys, I better wrap up this video. 500,000. I want to include springs. While you're in there, just throw in those push rods. They make your engine run quieter, and it gives you a sense of reassurance, man. Those push rods are all worth their weight in gold. I mean, they're so solid compared to the cheap OEM ones. The OEMs do the job, but 4 or 5 times the strength never hurts nothing. Anyways, guys, as always, may the Lord bless you, and may y'all mighty fine day. Ciao.